Hey guys, Chat Trades here. So in the beginning of this month, I grew my trading account 344%, scalping Nasdaq Futures. And yes, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to be showing you proof of that in just a second. Now keep in mind, this wasn't just from YOLOing my account into one trade or a few trades. I actually took over 30 trades this month to get to that 344% number. So basically I was taking anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe 3 trades per day. And I was consistently growing it. I wasn't sizing up as I was going on, right? I was using the same number of contracts every single day, even as my account grew. So I was still able to keep proper risk management throughout the entire month. So what I want to do in this video is show you the exact strategy I was using and testing out. It's very similar to the normal strategy I do for those of you that watch my channel, but instead of taking trades on a 2 or a 5 minute time frame, all of these trades were done on a 30-second time frame. And I'm really starting to like the smaller 30-second time frame. You get in a lot earlier, your risk is way lower, and my win rate and risk reward pretty much remained the same. I actually had a higher risk reward, a little bit lower win rate. So with that being said, super excited to show you this 30-second scalping strategy. Let's dive straight into it. All right, so first off, I want to show you some proof. I'm going to go into the account and you can see at the beginning of this month, basically what I did was I deposited $2,500 into this account. Like I said, I wanted to test doing this on a smaller time frame, the 30-second time frame, basically using my same exact strategy I normally use, trading with the trend, getting in on the pullbacks. Now, as you can see, the account is currently at $8,700. So if I go over to the proof right here, today I'm up $1,000, and you can see we'll just go over to this month right here, press go. All right, as you can see, gross P&L is $6,700. It says 73 trades. It's actually less than this just because I do trim my position, so it counts that as a trade. And we can see my win rate was 57%. It was a little bit lower in the beginning, but as I started to do this more and get more familiar with what mistakes I was making, it actually got a lot higher towards the last week of this test. So I think I can get this to 70%. We'll see what it looks like next month. Commission's $500, so we can see if we just subtract the total. So my account's at $8,700. So 8710 minus 6222, right? We can see the account started at just under $2,500. Now, first things first, I typically like to trade with the trend of the VWAP. Not always, it just depends. Like, did we bounce off a key support level? Then I can probably start playing the long side. But we can just see like the trend was pretty much down during pre-market. It was a little bit choppy, so it can go both ways today. All right, so we're first just going to go to where the market actually opened. This is typically when I like to start actually trading. And it doesn't have to be right at market open. Most of these trades were actually taken later in the day for me because I trade my main account in the morning. Okay, so just keep that in mind, but it pretty much works during all of market hours. So anyways, market open right here at 7:30 my time. First thing we see is we see an intense move down. We knew this was an intense move because it was a lot more aggressive than the previous price action we had. All right, so that's the first thing we wanted to see. The next thing is we want to see a light pullback. And as you can see, we got this light pullback, right? And going back to what I said is we don't want to see it retrace more than 50% of the move down we just had. It shows sellers are still in control. In this case, we're going short, right? So we can see this is way less than 50%, this little light pullback up. And if you really want to get technical, you can use a Fibonacci. So you just go to the last swing high to where we had the intense move down and where we started pulling back. As you can see, we only retrace around, actually it was just around 50% of that move. And really the main thing is you see this little gray dotted trend line. As long as we hold that, that's usually the A-OK that the pullback is pretty weak, right? The pullback is pretty light, which is what we want. So that's the second thing. Once we get that light pullback, the next thing we want to see is we want to use our strength confirmation, right? So I want to see the RAC indicator to hold its strength and remain in a buy or a sell signal, in this case a sell signal, since we are going short on the market. So if you don't know, the RAC indicator is down here, and it's basically a combination of the RSI and the MACD. And I'll show you how to set this up later in this video. But anyways, let's just get into the examples first so you understand the bigger picture. Basically, we want to see the RAC hold below this bottom line, okay? So in a buy, if we're going long, we want to see it hold above the top line. That shows their strength. We're in a buy signal. And on the short side, we want to see it hold below the bottom line. That shows there's a lot of weakness and we're in a sell signal. So we got this light pullback, and basically from there, we want to see this RAC indicator. So this is the next candle we got after that light pullback. We want to see this thing hold below the bottom line and also this yellow line to point down. And we also want to see a Heikin-Ashi candle with no wick at the top, okay, on the short side. So this is like a bearish Heikin-Ashi candle. So in this case, we would get into the trade short right here. All right, so that's basically our confirmation to see the RAC indicator pointing down, holding below the bottom line, and then just getting a decent red Heikin-Ashi candle. So as you can see, all that checked out. Next step is we want to put our stop loss, right? Where are we going to get out of the trade if it's a loser? I like to put it below the last swing low if you're going long, or above the last swing high if you're going short. You're just going to put it right above that light pullback area. Okay, so basically it's going to look something like this, where we get in right here. We'd put our stop just above that last swing high, and then we'd start to go for our target. Okay, so where do you actually know where to take your profit off? My rule of thumb is I like to trim 50% of my position at a 1-to-1 risk reward. Then as soon as I do that, I move my stop loss to break even, ensures I have a green trade. And then from there, I go for a 2 or a 3 risk reward on my runners. Okay, so that's the remaining 50% of my position. So you can see that this right here, it shows on this little chart right here on TradingView, this is a 1.52. So first, we're just aiming for a 1. So I'd put a profit target on this 611, and let me just zoom in so you guys can kind of see this better. So this would be, looks like we would have gotten in at 627, and then it went all the way down to 611. So this would have been like a 15-point trade on NASDAQ, which is pretty decent. Okay, so we trim our position there. And then from there, we can go for a 2 to 3 RR. So this is like a 2 down here, or if we want to go all the way for a 3. This would have been like a 50-point trade on NASDAQ. And then obviously you'd want to put your stop loss to break even as well. So again, like a lot of people think, oh, if you're trading on a smaller time frame, you can't make a lot of money, right? You're going to get eaten up by commission fees. Well, it's actually not true, because you can see like this is a 50-point move. We're just getting a way better entry, and we're still keeping our risk small. So we're still getting a good risk reward. And most of the time, especially on NASDAQ, most of the trade moves in 30 seconds, right? A minute, 2 minutes sometimes. So if you're waiting for that 5-minute candle close, or even that 2-minute candle close, you know, a lot of times you'll miss the whole entire move, right? So this is why I like these smaller time frames, because you can really get that early entry and still have all the confirmations in place. So that would have been the first trade, for example. And then from there, you can see we bounce off this level right here. This is actually a support level. So if we go over to a 5-minute time frame, for example, I have the 5-minute pulled up. This is that move down we had. Right, we can see that this is an old resistance level. So this actually should be a bounce area. So we'll just mark it right here where the lows were. This is an old resistance from yesterday, and it turned into new support. So we could have predicted that, hey, the market might bounce here, right? Just keep that in mind. So kind of going back to what I said on this first slide is, while watching key support and resistance levels, knowing we can bounce in those areas. So anyways, once we got that bounce, now we can play it to the other side, right? So I'm going to move a little bit faster now. So we can have an intense move up. We have a light pullback. Okay, we wait for a confirmation candle. RMAC just started trading above the top line. It's also pointing up. All good to go. So now we're going to go into a long position. We got in right here. We put our stop right below this swing low. All right, we first go for a 1-to-1, which is around right here. Okay, we can trim our position there, put our stop over to break even, and then now we can go for that 2 to 3 RR. Maybe we can line it up with this resistance area where we had aggressive selling, knowing we're probably going to start stalling once we get to this level. So you can see this would have been a 3.58 RR. And you can see this is why I was able to make so much money this month on a small account, even though my win rate was only 57%, right? It's because you can get that really high risk reward on these smaller time frames. And we can see we can kind of do this again. Like we had that intense move up, right? We base our trade on this move. We got that light pullback, and then we had another intense move up. And then what did we do? We had another light pullback. RMAC remained in a buy signal. So this could have been another trade we could take. Okay, so we basically had this red candle here. So this is like our light pullback. And then we had our confirmation candle right here. So we put our stop below this first red candle. Right, so let me just move this to the side. Then we go for that 1-to-1 risk reward starting out. Right, we trim our position here, and then we can go for that 2 or 3 risk reward from there, maybe lining it up with another resistance level. All right, and you could have done this again. You can see we're basing that last trade on this intense move up. First it was this one, then it was this one, and then we had another intense move. Now we're getting a pullback. Okay, we're getting light pullback. We're holding above this top line, and now we can wait for another confirmation candle, which we got right here. Okay, now this is a little bit more risky because we're at VWAP and we're at this resistance, but I mean, even if we took this, like we can see we would have got in right here. We put our stop below the swing low, so where that light pullback was. Okay, we first aimed for a 1-to-1, which we eventually got. We would have been in this trade for a while. And keep in mind, these are 30 seconds, so this is only a few minutes. That's another thing I love about this strategy is you're only in the trade for a few minutes. You don't have to sit there feeling all anxious and wondering if it's going to work, right? Like usually it plays out very quickly. So anyways, this eventually would have played out to your 1-to-1, and then maybe you go for a 2-to-1, for example. And we didn't actually get the 2-to-1. So the 2-to-1 is actually right here. No worries. You put your stop at break even, and you probably would have got stopped out on this candle right here, which is fine. Okay, so now you just keep following the trend. So now we wait for another aggressive move, another aggressive move. We got another aggressive selling move here. We got this light pullback. We got the confirmation candle. RMAC is in a sell signal. And look at this one. You would have got stopped out, right? No worries, we already took 3 winners. That's fine, you're gonna lose some trades, right? It's not gonna work 100% of the time. And then from here, we got this intense move up. Now, I wouldn't classify this as a trade to actually go long on because compared to this intense move down, you know, this intense move up is still pretty weak, right? So we could have actually played this short again because this probably isn't 50% of the move. It's probably just on the 50% mark. But keep in mind the RMAC isn't below the bottom line until right here. So maybe you could have gone short right here, put your stop above that last high, and then maybe went for that 1-to-1. You probably would have got that trim in. But we were showing a little bit of a divergence on this RMAC indicator. You can see price was lower here, but the RMAC was in more strength right here. Okay, so price was lower, but this was higher. So that shows divergence, showing that we could probably go up. And then from there, we got this intense move up, right? We pretty much retraced this entire move down. Then we got this tiny little pullback. And then again, this is something we could play. We could wait for a confirmation candle, put our stop just below that candle right here, right? Aim for that 1-to-1, which would have been around right here. And then you can go for that next resistance, which is up here, and this would have gave you a 3-to-1 risk reward. And again, you can just keep on playing this. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. If we're in a very choppy area, you know, once we kind of see, you know, some resistance start forming, we can just mark a zone. For example, we had that resistance, and then we had, you know, this whole support area. You know, if you want to be extra safe, you can wait till we break one of these levels. So wait till we break above this level and then get the pullbacks, or break below this support area where we had aggressive buying, right? For example, we finally did that right here. And this could have been an example of the trade you take. Tense move down, light pullback, confirmation, RMAC pointing down. We're breaking just below that support, get in here, right? Would have had a nice move down. So that's kind of the idea I had behind, you know, while watching key support and resistance levels. Now, again, this tends to work better when we do break those key levels, because that's usually when we have the most intense amount of movement. We're not going to be choppy, because again, when we're in these very choppy periods, a lot of times you can avoid it by using our confirmations in this RMAC indicator, but sometimes you will start to take some losses. So typically my rule of thumb is if I take 3 losses in a row, I'm done for the day. That's my max loss. And then if I take, you know, 1 to 2 winners, then I'll also be done. I'll walk away for the day. So don't try to trade this 24/7. You're going to mentally exhaust yourself. So have some rules for yourself on when you should stop trading, whether you're up or down on the day. And also, guys, I'm sure you're wondering how to set up this RMAC indicator. So let me do that really quick for you guys. So I'm just going to delete this off my chart. All you're going to do is go over to indicators. You're going to go to RSI. You're going to add that in. And then you're going to go to MACD. You're going to add that in as well. Then from there, you're going to go to the MACD. You're going to go to the settings, go to inputs, and put in 2, 20, and 20. If I'm going too fast, just rewind this video, but I want to make sure to not take up too much time. Turn off the histogram, and then you can make these colors any color you want. I like to use yellow on this signal line, and we can make it bigger, change the opacity, and then I like to make it solid. Then we're going to press OK. Then I'm going to go over to the RSI. I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to turn off everything here. Okay, so turn off all these boxes. All these boxes. You're going to leave the middle band on. Turn these off. Turn these off. And then you're going to change this middle band to 60. And then we can make this whatever color. Maybe it's blue. Change the opacity. Make this a little thicker. And then do a solid line here. And then from there, all you're going to do is you're going to go to the MACD. and you're going to press move to existing pane above. And also one other thing is go to the settings on MACD, and then just go to pen to scale and press no scale. So that's all you have to do to set this up. Again, above the top line, you're in a buy signal. Below the bottom line, you're in a sell signal. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on this 30-second scalping strategy. This is how I was able to make over 340% on my account this month. Share this with someone you think would find this video helpful. All right, guys, as you saw, this trade was all about focusing on market trends. If you want more real-time trades and my daily trading plans, you can join our free Discord community. In the trading plan channel, I share my exact setups I'm watching for daily, and you'll see others posting their wins using the same strategy. We also review trades so you can refine your approach. So if you're sick of trading alone and want to be a part of this, hit the first link in the description below, or just go over to marketminutes.co. It's completely free to join, and I look forward to seeing your name inside.